Good evening. Good evening, people of God. How are you all? I hope everyone had an amazing day. My day is winding down. I decided to come back out. I'm going to see my stretch therapist to get me a good stretch. My stretch therapist says stretching is, um, one of my stretch therapists says stretching is more important than actually lifting weights and working out. It's the most important thing because when you stretch the muscles, you get enough oxygen and blood flowing through. So I'm going to get me a good stretch and going to get me a good, nice, deep tissue massage after that. So just a little self-care winding down my evening. You guys like my shirt? It says, "Be real, not perfect." My mom bought me this shirt. But anyway, I just decided to make a video because traffic is so freaking slow. So this evening traffic, y'all know how that evening traffic is. And you know what I was thinking about, people of God? What I want to say is, what's on my mind is, I was pondering back over what me and my dentist spoke about a while back. And a lot of my elders say the same thing. They have real conversation with people. And I noticed the conversations that I have with my elders, men and women, are much more, they're different than a lot of the conversations I have with younger people, and or that I'm able, the communications that are different, like the elders, and that's on all levels, whether it's when I'm out at work, or those who I just know personally. The conversations are different. The mentality is different. And a lot of them are married. Some spouses have died. Some are single. And what I want to say is, and this is just my little 2 cents to my younger brothers and sisters. You don't have to be younger. To my single brothers and sisters, those of you who may be desiring marriage, you're desiring a spouse, whether you're male or female. This is my 2 cents. Do not let technology turn you into a robot. Do not let technology turn you into a robot. And what I mean by that is, you know, human beings, we were created to communicate with each other, to be a support to one another, but the way the world has changed, a lot of people are self-seeking, self-desiring, you know, absorbed, and people are trying to, with the way that technology is going, everyone wants to fight to build themselves up. But for those of you who are single and just desiring solid connection with, and it doesn't always have to be whether it's marriage or the opposite sex. You can desire making good friendship connections, because even if I think my thing is, if you're going to marry somebody, how can you marry somebody that can't be your friend? And what I mean by don't let technology turn you into a robot is, talk to people when you get out into the world, even though you can use your discernment and just distinguish between the energies when you go different places. Even when I'm working, I meet different people. I communicate with different people who think differently. I vibe with different people. You ain't got to give everybody a number, but you could just get out and have conversations with people and ask questions, ask people's opinions on certain things, and just see where other people's mindset is at and learn what's happening in real life, in the real world, how people are moving, how people are thinking. Because the internet will turn you into, before you know it, you just be so focused on the internet and listening to so many different people's opinions about how friendships should be, or what you should look for in a man, what you should look for in a woman, how a marriage should be, and everything is computerized by listening to other people's opinion versus getting out, meeting people for yourself, and vibing and seeing what spirit is in somebody. Because some people may not know how to articulate themselves. Some people may not check all the hit off, be able to, how can you say it? So you might not be able to check some people all the boxes off that you hear somebody telling you, giving you their opinion about. But when you get out and meet people, they can make you feel, you can feel a really solid connection there. And as you learn what's going on in other people's lives, you can meet other people that may be go-getters like yourself, but they just not out in the public. They may have things going on, and they may be somebody that's off somewhere where nobody will have never discovered them or learned about them. And here go, you've met them out walking at the park, you've met them out at the arcade or something, you've met them at a, taking yourself to a nice restaurant or something, approaching people, and just talking. You're gonna meet some bad apples, you're gonna meet a lot of weird people, you're gonna meet a lot of people that may want to cling to you, and for you got to kind of figure out what their motive is and stuff like that. But talk, communicate with people, because after you've done all the research on the internet about relationships, after you've listened to so many people's opinions about meeting people and different things, and don't get me wrong, you can take a lot of knowledge from people who have experience in certain areas, but it's nothing like learning for yourself and getting your own vibes and your own feelings and building your own connections in real life and drawing your own conclusions, because you got to be able to think for yourself. And so, reflecting back onto what my dentist said, she said she don't even have Facebook, and she got Facebook, but she said she won't accept any of her friends on there. And I think I shared this a while back, because she says it's like, what do we have to talk about? You need human interaction, you need human connections, and so that's just my little 2 cents. Talking to people is good, when you get out and you can learn, talk, get a vibe, get it for what you feel. I'm not saying you gotta be trustworthy, be so easy to trust people. You ain't gotta give everybody your phone number. You don't gotta think you can let people know your personal information, taking people back home with you. No, but just getting out, mingling, and it feels good too. Sometimes you might come across somebody that need prayer, that need a kind word, and just by you having your light out sometimes. But we can't always stay behind a computer screen and look for understanding through all different type of opinions, because guess what, they're never going to stop. And if you get hooked in to just thinking how other people think, what are your thoughts? How do you know how you think? How do you know how you're going to react when you come across or meet certain people? You've only been programmed by other people's thoughts, if that makes sense. So that's what I wanted to say. Don't let technology turn you into robots. We can get out here and meet people for real, have real conversations for real, and you never know. You may run into somebody who's a destiny helper. You may run into somebody who is meant to just pour into you. You may run into somebody that you need to pour into. But don't be closed off to, how can I say it? Don't be closed off to just having a certain category, a type of the type of people that you're willing to communicate with, because you never know. You could be someone who's in your 40s, and you can be out and you can meet a friend or somebody, an elder, or somebody who's in their 80s, and they're meant to, they become a blessing in your life by just sharing knowledge with you that you never knew about, or putting you on to something that you never knew about. But if you be like, I ain't want to make friends with them, why they want to talk to me for? You never know what God put in somebody's heart to tell you. You never know what similarities that you have together with other people if you are just closed-minded, or you look for people who are just like you, just think like you. We're all different, and people who don't think like you, they could be decent people and just help you grow. They rub off on you in the right way. I hope I'm making sense. There's one of my elders, I met him. I was out one day working, and he just rolled up past me, and he was like, "Hey, young girl, what you doing?" And I told him what I was doing, and he said, I did this, blah blah blah. And he just started talking. Now in my mind, I could have said, what this old man telling me this for? Why he telling me this? But I kept quiet and I listened. And as he talking, I end up getting his number. I ain't talked to him in a while now, but just thinking about it, this was a few years ago. But he ended up encouraging me about my business, and he ended up telling me how he started a similar business years ago that did well, how he went into real estate, how he bought property. He went to tax sales, which is one of the quickest way to get to obtain real estate, and he brought properties, and then he set up his properties, and he manages his own thing. He taught me, he told me how he did an eviction process. That So this man ended up telling me so much stuff, but had I brushed him off because he was a older man with a cap with gray hair, I would have like, wait, I could have came to conclusions like, what do you want to talk? Why you stop asking me all these questions? Because he asked me several questions, but then I was humble in my spirit, and I wanted to listen and be respectful enough to discern his motive. And he was just fascinated at what he saw me doing. And then he ended up telling me about his wife and his children. And he became like a mentor for me for a little season in my life, and shared a lot of knowledge and gave me a lot of encouragement and motivation, telling me I was on the right track, to keep my head focused, stay in the game, don't let nobody use me, don't let nobody come in my life. And he just poured into me, and I didn't have a closed mind, you know, and cut him off. I wasn't disrespectful, right? So that's all I'm saying. When we get out here, there's life outside of what we see on the internet. And sometimes what people present themselves on the internet, they're not really like that in real life, or they're not really living that type of life, or they're not really living a happy life or a peaceful life on the other side. And, you know, if that makes sense. But it's real life out here in the world, people of God. We can mingle with different people, and just learn, and be merry. That's all I wanted to share. Don't let the internet turn you into a robot, baby. That's just my little 2 cents. Y'all enjoy your day. It's getting dark, so I gotta make sure I don't miss my little turn. It's busy on this side of town where I'm at. But y'all have a blessed night. If I don't see you no more tonight, then you already know your little country bunking sister loves you. God bless you.